So we're gonna get started. So we're gonna look at bank reconciliation this morning. Now, this is a job that we actually do in the real world. Okay, so it really is important that we understand how to do this. At this level, you will also be tested in the AAT exam under your bookkeeping controls unit. Okay, so it's an area that we need to make sure we've got thorough understanding for the real world. Okay, so if you work in accountancy, or whether you work in industry, bank reconciliation is absolutely paramount and really important. Okay, so I want you to ask as many questions as you need to as we're going along. Anything that you need me to go back over, just let me know and I will go back over it. So just to be clear, can you see the PowerPoint on screen, the bank reconciliation on screen? Yeah, perfect. And you've printed off your copies and you've got a copy in front of you. Okay then. So we're going to start looking at what the bank reconciliation's for. The bank reconciliation is to check what you've entered in your cash book matches with what's gone through the bank account and vice versa. Okay, so remember, when we talk bank reconciliation and we start looking at the cash book, it's the bank column that we're interested in, not the cash column. Okay, because the cash column is physical cash that we've dealt with. Okay, so what we're doing is we're checking that the cash book has everything in it that we'd expect, and has it gone through the bank account. Okay, so we're basically matching it. We're going to identify what we call timing differences. Okay, now your uncleared lodgement is receipts that we've received from our customers. Okay, that's been entered in our cash book but not gone through the bank account yet. Okay, and that is because by the time we've received the check, yeah, and we've wrote it in our cash book, then we've got to take it to the bank and put it in the bank. Then it's got to go through the banking clearing system. Okay, and it all takes time. So what you have to understand is that when you put that check straight into a bank account, there'll be so many working days until it's actually shown on your bank statement, and that's where we get the timing differences from. Your unpresented checks, or checks that we've paid out to our suppliers, we've wrote it in the cash book, but it's not gone through the bank account yet. Okay, so don't forget, in the real world, when you are writing a check out, you could write a check today, enter it in your cash book dated today, which is the 18th of July. Okay, but then it's going to take a while because you've got to send it in the post. It's going to may take them a couple of days to get it. Then they've got to process it through into their cash book. Then they've got to take it to the bank. Then it's got to go through the banking system. So it could be around seven working days before it's actually seen on your bank statement. So that is unpresented checks. Okay, and like I say, your timing differences is purely because of the length of time it takes from receiving it or paying it out to actually seeing it on your bank statement. Okay, so it also allows us to check for unauthorized activity. Okay, so there's a lot of things that we hear about fraud. Okay, so what we're actually doing is we're checking that what we've seen come out of our bank account is what we expected to come out of his bank account. So for instance, I checked my bank account the other day, my business bank account, and there was a payment that had come out from regarding making a company up via company's house. Okay, so a limited company. Okay, I never authorized that payment. So by doing my bank reconciliation, I knew that the money had come out of my bank that I weren't expecting, so I was able to act on it. Okay, so it's just making sure that it's what we expect to see. Okay, because you can have a shock if stuff's come out and you don't expect it. Okay then, so your steps to your bank reconciliation. So the first thing, you've got to ensure your cash book is up to date. Okay, so you've written everything that you know that you've received in and paid out, and everything's in your cash book. Okay, Then you're going to check the items on your bank statement and match it to the items in your cash book. So it's just step by step, and you're going to highlight it, tick it, write the letter R at the side of it for reconciled, initial it, whatever you do. And then this is the important bit, okay? Any item on the bank statement that is not in the cash book needs to be written in the cash book. However, you have to take care with this, because if you think about it, you could have sent a check out, for instance, on 30th of June last month, okay? And it could be check number 123562, something like that, okay? Your first check in July is 123579, okay? So the 123562 check will relate to a payment that you paid out last month, okay? So you've got to make sure that if you're writing up your cash book with items that are on your bank statement, that there's items, you're not writing items in again that relate to a previous month, okay? And we'll have a look at that as we go along, so I've got an example on that. But it's quite a common area that in an exam, okay? Because what they want to do is they want to trip you up. And when you come to do our assignment after this lesson, yeah, you will, I suppose you'll see what I mean by that. So I'm not giving too many hints and tips away, but just bear that in mind when you come to it. Okay. Anybody got any questions on that? Okay, before we start the bank rec. No? Pretty clear? Brilliant. You know me, I like to tell you it in plain English. I don't like to confuse things. Okay then, so what you should have got is you should have got a cash book, okay, shown on screen, same as mine, and you've got a bank statement. So if you've printed them off as I suggested, as a PowerPoint, yeah, or as on a single sheet, put them side by side, because what we're going to do is we're actually going to match the bank statement to the cash book, okay? Now, the first thing you're going to look at is you're going to look at this opening balance, okay? So this £250 opening balance. You can see that opening balance matches the opening balance in the cash book, okay? So you're just going to highlight it, or you're going to put the letter R or your initials. Now, be careful with this, because it really is important that when you look at this figure, and I'm going to show you an example on this, okay, this one's quite easy because that figure matches this figure, okay? So it matches your opening balance in your cash book, okay? So what you're going to do is when we come to look at another example, that might not necessarily be the case, okay? So just bear that in mind for me. This is quite a simple example. Then we're going to match the next item, okay? So we've got wages of 125, and we've got wages in the cash book. We've got a check number 345 for £155, and we can see that we've got that in the cash book. P. Parker, £35 receipt, and that's in the cash book. S. Smith, £75 and £75 in the cash book. And then we've got check number 346 and 346 in the cash book, okay? And what you will see is you'll see that we've got two items on the bank statement that haven't been entered in the cash book. Remember, we're reconciling from the bank statement to the cash book, okay? So what we're doing now is we've highlighted these two items, this back's payment that we've received from K-Night and these bank charges. And what we've got to do is we've got to update the cash book with those two items, okay? Because they've been paid direct into his bank and the bank charges have been taken straight out of the bank. So what we're going to do is we'll update that first. So just like we did in the previous unit in bookkeeping transactions, we've entered in the K-night and the bank charge, okay? And then we've balanced off the account as we normally would. Now this figure is extremely important, this